right, everyone. How is everyone? Thanks for joining. My name's Sheridan Johns, and I'm just testing the mic a little bit here. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. Maybe someone can drop a yes in the chat. Great, thank you. We'll give everyone a little bit more time to join. It looks like we have a pretty good crowd already, but just want to make those who are maybe jumping off of other calls and connecting here a few more minutes. So we'll get underway very shortly. All right, everyone. So I think we'll dive right in. We've given those latecomers a couple minutes to get set up. So welcome, everyone, to the new edition of the Ocean Protocols Builders session. Thanks for taking time to join us. I know there's lots of things out there to choose from, and it's great to have you with us. So if you're new to Ocean Builders or Ocean Protocol Builders is an ongoing event series. Really, we want to bring members of the community together who are actively building on Ocean, including innovators, developers, contributors, anyone who's really engaged with Ocean tech anywhere across the globe, and are really looking how to shape the future and the new data economy using Ocean technology, and want to really learn from other builders what they're doing and exchange experiences, ideas, and inspiration. So that's the series. My name is Sheridan Johns. I'll be hosting today's session. For those of you who don't know me, I cover collaborations and enterprise at Ocean. And as part of my role, I have the pleasure to work with innovative teams of builders to help familiarize them with Ocean, as well as support them as they build on Ocean along the way. So for today's session, I'm really excited and pleased to have two members of the Acentrik team with us today, Elaine Salon and Srikanth Kaya. These are two very, let's say, inspired, active, and motivated Ocean builders, if you will. They've played an instrumental role in the development and launch of Acentrik over the past 2 years, and they're really the driving force behind the Acentrik project. So Elaine is Assistant Manager, IT Consumer Success at Mercedes-Benz Singapore, and Srikanth is General Manager, Center of Excellence Web3 at Mercedes-Benz Singapore. So to both of you, a warm welcome from me, as well as everyone else who's joined. It's great to have you with us, and it's also great to have you back, because in fact, you joined us, I believe, a couple months ago for a Ocean Protocol Builder session. So thanks for coming back. And Elaine, I'd like to start with you, because last time you joined us, you explained how Acentrik provides a seamless data sharing experience for enterprise and enables enterprise to maximize full potential of their data. And if I've understood correctly, today you're going to share some exciting updates on Acentrik, as well as give us a live demo. I think that's what we got in store, which is really exciting. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm sure the audience is too. So welcome, Elaine. Welcome, Srikanth.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words, Sheridan. So, hi everyone, and hello, Ocean Builders. It's been a while. My name is Elaine Silan, and I currently lead customer success for Acentrik in Mercedes-Benz Singapore. So, I think during our last community presentation in October, we gave you an overview of how Acentrik has utilized the Ocean tech stack in order to build a secured and verifiable data exchange for enterprises. So we've co-developed and or advocated for various features and functionalities that makes Acentrik truly an enterprise-centric data marketplace. So to mention a few, we have our platform management console that manages organizations' user accounts and contracts, the use of enterprise smart contract templates, fine-grained permissions that gives full control to the data provider to define who can access their data. The use of stable coins as a mode of payment to avoid volatility associated with other cryptocurrencies, and many other features. So, in this presentation, we want to give you an update on the adoption, traction, and what's up and coming for Accentric. We'll also have a quick demo towards the end of the session to showcase Accentric's global data marketplace. So, let's jump right in. Accentric's vision is to enable organizations worldwide to fully unlock and leverage data for new value streams and opportunities. And true to this vision, we've received a lot of interest and traction from various organizations, including the government sector. So, government organizations, for example, they tend to have strategies to leverage data in supporting their operations and decision making process. And this is how they want to use a data exchange platform like Accentric. They see data as a valuable asset that can help improve the collaboration across various government branches and speed up innovations. For large enterprises in other industries that we have spoken to, like OEM manufacturing, semiconductor, and other players in the mobility space. So for them, it's important that they can make full use of the data value chain within their organizations that tend to generate a lot of data. So from sharing data, getting value out of their data, and even monetizing their data. And they are looking at how computer data can be a solution and can be utilized in order to safely share data to their suppliers without moving or handing over the entire data itself. Players, on the other hand, for example, in healthcare and prop tech space, right, they want a more domain-specific data exchange, which are more targeted for their industries. So Accentric's fine-grained permissions also gives full control to the data providers on managing access to their data. So seeing all these requests coming from these various industries, we can really say and attest that Accentric is built as a horizontal technology that can be used across multiple domains. And as we speak to more and more of these organizations, we've also received a lot of feedback and insights that help us develop and improve the product even better. So our customers, especially like Accentric's UI UX, making it easier for non-technical users to adapt to. They also like the fact that the participants in our global data marketplace are known to Accentric following the KYB process that we have in place. And during our 1.1 release, we have taken into consideration some of the most requested features from our customers, from their pain, based on their pain points, right? Such as having a proper way for data owners to track any sales transactions of their data asset. And we've done this via our sales history page. And this follows like requirements also from the European Data Act to know who, from, and to has the data been shared. So second, we have also have the ability to transfer ownership to another wallet via UI. And this is quite useful in a scenario in which a team member needs to transfer the ownership to another user within their organization. Third, following the feedback that large organizations or corporations, especially corporates, right? They tend to have additional legal contracts in place between two parties in a data sharing scenario, and they want to have the flexibility to deny all users from consuming the data asset upon publish at first, right? And then later on, updating it to allow only specific organization to consume their data. From our V1.2 release, we've enabled developer details section that allows developers to integrate Accentric to their internal applications. and do the consumption of the data asset via SDKs. Plus, we've also made it easier for data providers to manage the asset's accessibility, whether it is status, permissions, revenue accounts, or ownership. So I'll also be showcasing some of these features via the demo later, so stay tuned. Of course, we are not stopping there. We are taking Acentrik to the next level, right? By introducing some features that are part of our future product roadmap. And these are again based on the initial feedback that we've gathered, addressing the pain points of large scale adoption and building Accentrik's V 2.0. And that includes an organization wallet, give the users of an organization the ability to publish and consume using a common wallet. This addresses some of the feedback about the user experience when dealing with Web3 wallets. We also have an option for post payment to generate billing information for the data owners to invoice their customers based on consumption, further addressing enterprise concerns on having alternative payment methods. Federated learning allow users to utilize computer data across multiple data source with multiple algorithms, and data asset schema mapping. By adding a functionality that will allow schema details of the data asset to be included and mapped, and eventually used to view similar data assets using a compatibility scoring. You know, and these are just some of the things that we have in the pipeline, among many others, and we have more in store. Now, we know that the journey to unlocking the value of data globally isn't exactly an easy one. We like to also do our part by advocating and participating in various events that are attended by both the Web3 and data community. So last year, we've actually been to Blockchain Expo Global in London, where we met fellow advocates and innovators in this space. At the start of this year, we've been present in Singapore events such as Blockchain Fest and Data and AI Leaders Summit. And you can definitely look forward to Mercedes-Benz Singapore and Accentric's participations in more events locally and globally. So uh, if you have any other events that you think we should participate at, yeah, so please feel free to reach out to us. And you can also stay tuned for more updates via our LinkedIn page. Yeah, so now let's move on to the demo. Yeah, so I hope everybody is seeing my screen clearly, right? So in this demo, I'd like to show you some of the features and functionalities that Accentric has built in the past few months. Some of them I've already highlighted during the presentation, but I'll explain again, don't worry, right? So currently, I am in my Create Dataset page, right? I have already pre-populated this prior to this call, so that it's easier to go through the features and explain. Yeah. So let's say that I want to publish a data set that is based on an API, like an API based data set. Yeah. So I've selected download and I will now select my edge node, right? So an edge node, right, is just to recap, maybe for some who are new, some of you are experts already. But an edge node is what connects the data source from one end and the marketplace to another end. So now imagine in an enterprise context, right? Imagine that each organization is participating in a global marketplace like Accentric, have their own edge nodes residing within their own environment, closer to the data source. This can then enable them to securely share their data in a decentralized manner. Right? So assets in Acentrik are priced with a stablecoin. So, for Acentrik, we use USDC as most enterprise clients are resistant on using cryptocurrencies because they tend to be volatile. So, as mentioned earlier, in the future, we're thinking of having a third pricing option, which is like a post-paid payment or like a post-paid billing option, right? And it will kind of like coexist with the current pricing types that we have right now. Yeah. Now, I also want to show you this, right? So earlier in the presentation, I also spoke about the options to deny all users from consuming the data set before publishing, right? And this is useful especially for large corporates in which there are certain legal contracts that still needs to be in place outside the marketplace even before a consumption of data is allowed, right? And this one, right, you can always change this setting back via the edit advanced settings, which I will show you next. So in our edit advanced settings, right, we have a section that's called manage permissions. Yeah, managing permissions to allow purchase of a data asset can be specifically defined by the data provider by adding certain credential types in the allow and deny list. So, for example, if your organization only allows users from a certain organization's email domain to purchase your data asset, you can add them in the allow list, right? Alternatively, you can also use the deny list if there's certain organizations that you don't want to consume your data. And just take note that these credential types that we have currently are something that are also flexible and can be extended as part of future requirements. Yeah. So now I'm jumping to manage ownership, right? So ownership of a data asset in Acentrik is represented by an ERC721 token. And internally in Acentrik, this is known as the asset management token. And transferring this to another wallet means transferring the ownership and management rights for the data asset. So this is now possible via UI, right? So you can simply click on transfer ownership, enter the wallet address of the new owner, right? And confirm the transaction, and you should be able to transfer the ownership. Yeah. So another thing that I wanted to highlight is the sales history, which I also briefly mentioned during the presentation earlier. So sales history allows a data provider to track who consumed any of their listed data assets, right? So through this, they should also be able to filter the information, right, on like the asset level or on the consumer level, who consumed their data basically. So that information is available on the sales history page. So this also makes it easier for them to track revenue that they made from the sales of their listed data asset. Okay, then lastly, yeah, I would want to show you this, the developer details. Yeah, so developers can make use of Accentrik's SDK in order to integrate it to their internal application and automate the consumption of their data asset. So this is found under the developer details section as mentioned, and it provides all the necessary information that you can do that you need for the consumption. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's the end of the demo. Thank you very much for listening. Again, my name is Elaine Sinan. Feel free to connect with me via LinkedIn. And if you or your organization is looking for an enterprise data marketplace solution, you can always go to accentric.io and contact us. So now I'll hand it back over to Sheridan for the Q&A portion. Yeah. Thank you.
Aline, thank you very much. That was super and really impressive to see what you guys have put in place in such a short amount of time. Obviously, incorporating a lot of feedback that you're getting from the market. Great to see that you guys are out there and looking to engage and really open that discussion at those events. Interesting comment by Matt Broden. Certainly, this event with the get the board on board sounds quite interesting. I'm curious if you have time for one short question, and that is, when you're at these events, are you what type of people are coming and engaging with you at at your stand or booth. Do you see those as being the business leaders, or are those more the kind of the people who are implementing the technology? Hello? All right, maybe Elaine dropped off. We can get to that later, and maybe we can get to that in some of the Q&A. I was just wondering from your perspective, Elaine, what you were seeing there. But maybe that's something that we can get Srikant to also uh, um, chime in on. I unfortunately can't get my video on. Let me see if I can get that, because I'd love to. Here we go. Let's see. I think, Elaine, you're still presenting. Um, And now, I hope others can see you, but I haven't.
Something along those lines, but we want to really take it enterprise grade. On the other side, right now it is pretty much API file-based data source. What we also want to extend is make use of the edge computing node infrastructure to also extend the connectors to different data sources. It could be streaming data, it could be data in data lakes, data hubs, databases, whatever, which is typically the case in the enterprise space. So we also want to extend it and not just have one or two data sources support, but also support multiple data sources. I think when we combine these two, I think it will. The problem that we're trying to solve is about data being in silos, and when you expand the computer data capabilities to these switches, we can really connect this data in silos across different platforms that we have. So that's part of the vision that we have in the coming.
Yeah, that obviously makes a lot of sense. Do you see that, just an add-on, a quick question on that, do you see that more for internal within an organization or between organizations and their clients or customers?
Yeah. So I think is it more for the organization? Is that right?
Yeah, I was just wondering, I mean, with this interest in compute to data, is that something that you're finding enterprise wanting to use for their own subsidiaries, for example, or is it actually really exposing that data to external third parties?
I think the beauty of the computer data technology is it will open up opportunities for both of these. For example, it can be in a large corporate like us, where we typically have IT departments everywhere in the world. And it also solves the problem of cross-border data exchange, for example. Rather than keep sending data to where the analytics is being done, you are enabling data scientists from a different location to run computation on data which is a different location. So that's still within the organization. But it can also happen across the organization. Like if we have been in discussion with another large corporate who's requesting for some data from Mercedes-Benz. And it got stuck there for a few years because they have an algorithm which is their IP and we have data which is our IP, and there was no mechanism to have this computation enabled for some use cases implementation. So, and they triggered this discussion because Acentrik we provide the technology with computer data, protecting IP of both algorithm owner and data owner, and enabling computation in that context. So it can be within the organization in a large global setup, but it can also be across in a B2B space or implementing some use cases for the industry.
Yeah, no, that's great and very interesting to hear that not only for innovation with external partners, but for innovation internally, that it can be some of great value. That's obviously something to highlight as well. Thank you for that. Moving on to the next question, and this is more about account abstraction. Wondering also there, what are your plans for account abstraction for Acentrik users?
Yeah, well, account abstraction is actually pretty new. The reason why we got excited with the feature is mainly because it solves a problem of using the Web3 and wallet, especially in the enterprise space. So how can we actually get rid of the wallet-to-wallet transactions? And typically in the large organization, using of wallet and tokens is something that they have to have a lot of clearance. But this account abstraction enables us to have this company wallet kind of thing, and gives users the experience to perform transactions in a Web2 manner, but still taking the advantage of Web3. So that is why we are looking into the direction wherein, what if we move into because we are B2B, we onboard multiple enterprises. What if we move into a direction wherein there's one company wallet, and that company wallet funds the individual wallets or users' wallet within that enterprise, but the transactions are just as how you do it in a Web2 marketplace. But at the back end, it is still Web3. You are still taking the advantage of decentralization. So that is something that we wanted to try it out and implement in our Acentrik marketplace, which I believe will open up a lot more opportunities for large-scale adoption within the enterprise space. So this is still new, but we know that we are getting a bit early into this, but if this solves the problem, why not? We are betting on it.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the anything that can reduce the friction, make it easier to interact, the UI and UX, I think Elaine was also referring to that. You guys have been really paying a lot of attention to that and making sure that is very user-friendly, and certainly the account abstraction for Acentrik users could certainly play a very, very big role in that as well. Super. So with respect to follow-up question there as well, or the next question really, within that enterprise setting, maybe detail for us the motivation of enterprise setting up their private edge node and how that looks with respect to Acentrik.
Yeah, so the short answer is data privacy. And the long answer for this is there's a reason why we enable distributed architecture. Of course, we can provide the edge node infrastructure. We can say that it is only accessing your data, or it is only computing your data for a short while. But at the end, if we are giving the control and privacy fully back to the data owners or enterprises, the ideal way to do that is to let them connect their edge computing node to Acentrik. So that way, Acentrik purely acts as an orchestrator. It doesn't store your data, it doesn't access your data, it doesn't compute your data. That's the best possible scenario. And the reason why this plays a very important role in the enterprise space is every enterprise, like Mercedes-Benz, when you are sharing data externally, there's a lot of legal complexities and there's a lot of internal process that we have to go through before we share data externally. And this simplifies a lot of such process. The moment we say that we do not share data, we do not compute your data, there's no data processing involved on Acentrik, that eases a lot of things, because the edge computing node is on the enterprise side, the data endpoint is on the enterprise side, all that they're using Acentrik is for the whole orchestration. So, which is why this is very important, and we are sticking to this distributed architecture. We will still provide edge computing node, but that's purely for connecting to certain data points. And if enterprises are okay to use our edge computing node, that's totally fine. We provide them as a default option. But in general, we expect that any large corporate who are on board. In fact, we also did a couple of pilot projects with large corporates recently, and all that involved connecting their edge node to Acentrik, and the edge node itself will connect to the data endpoint. So, which is why this is extremely important from the enterprise space.
Absolutely, indeed. So, you guys have obviously come a long way in the collaboration between OP, Ocean Protocol, is one that the team as well as the community is very excited about. I'm wondering, from your perspective, what do you see that's in store for the collaboration between Acentrik and Ocean Protocol moving forward?
Yeah, it's been a long collaboration. It feels like yesterday, but it has already been 3 years, I guess. Yeah, but it's going strong day by day. In fact, about a month ago, we also had Bruce and Alex in our Mercedes-Benz Singapore office. We did discuss on our roadmaps, the technologies, the challenges from the customer. How should we, develop the technology and all that. But it's been strong. I must say, we're still having regular calls with the Ocean team, especially on the tech team. Very supportive. They understood where we are coming from. So it is, we are really thankful for the Ocean community and also the Ocean team. And going forward, I think based on our alignment, I think we are diverging our paths going forward. I think Ocean is more moving into the community space. We are moving much deeper into the enterprise space. But at the end, we are still leveraging the core technology and getting value out of it in a different way. So that is how we see it. But the fundamental of both the vision, whether it is Ocean's vision towards community approach or Acentrik or Mercedes-Benz vision towards enterprise approach, the fundamental technology still remains the same, which is decentralized data sharing and edge computing and computer data features. So which is actually very excited about, because you are getting results and value from different perspectives using the same technology.
Yeah, very cool. interesting for you to say enterprise and community. Actually, one could be provocative and say that enterprise is part of the community, although they may not always speak with the same voice. It all is within the same ecosystem. Let's say independent developers, small teams, as well as larger enterprise, because they're all interested in that technology and how to leverage that to get value out of what they're trying to accomplish from a business perspective or just a data sharing perspective. So very cool. Thanks for that. I guess one final question before we wrap things up. And it's great, obviously, that we're seeing up and coming traction for Acentrik with more and more enterprises. You mentioned other, being a solution that really is horizontal across all domains. Prop tech and healthcare being ones that might be there now. What do you see as the challenges for Acentrik and your team with respect to enterprise adoption moving forward?
So obviously there are challenges. I'll be lying if I say everything is going fine, smooth, everything. The main challenge that comes to my mind is it's a long onboarding cycle. Enterprises get excited about the technology, about the computer data, decentralization, everything, but it's not like let's do onboarding tomorrow. They have to try out the technology, get to know more about it, understand the onboarding process, get internal clearance before they share data. So it's a long cycle before you onboard any enterprise. So that is one. It will require a lot of patience to deal and then have a proper pathway before we onboard someone into production. So that is one. The second one that I see is blockchain. The things have been improving a lot in terms of the Web3. I think someone was also asking about the Web3 data marketplace sharing. So I would say that things are much better right now. They realized why Web3 is being used and for what reason. Also our management and also the other stakeholders, other customers that we talk about. But it is still a question mark in terms of how are we going to use blockchain in general. Are we supposed to use wallets and things like that? So that is the other challenge. But on the positive side, I also see that the technology is advancing. Account abstraction is one, so that will also open up opportunities to make the adoption much more seamless. The last one that I can think of is data sharing. The typical way of data sharing is that by default, they think that data marketplace, they have access to your data, or you lose control of your data. So there's also a change in mindset that is required in terms of moving into decentralization. So we often say that Acentrik is the future of data exchanges. So we strongly believe that is how it will be, more use cases implemented in a decentralized way. But it's a long game that we also have to pay. But now I think we are at a stage wherein we are onboarding customers. We are doing some pilot projects. Some major corporates are, we are in discussion with in terms of the project implementation. So that will also open up gate for other enterprises to join the game, because it is always easy to see a success story and then you can adopt the technology accordingly.
So it is obviously moving in the right direction. However, you're saying it does take a bit of stamina, a little bit of perseverance as well, and not going to happen overnight. I think that you're right in saying that the interest internally as well as externally in terms of data sharing can unlock some new opportunities, both internally as well as with collaborators. There was a question in the thread, and kind of now shifting into looking at what we want to do in the next section here with the Q&A for the community. There was a section in the thread that it might be nice to go into a little bit with respect to opportunities. And this one was focused on opportunities for innovation and entrepreneurship in the data sharing economy. what is your sense with respect to the innovation and entrepreneurship from the Acentrik perspective? Obviously, you guys have built an enterprise grade decentralized data exchange marketplace. I'd imagine that could also unlock a lot of innovation and opportunities to set up own businesses using that tech. How are you seeing that with respect to moving forward and the opportunities?
Yeah, it's a good question. So my perspective on that is we are also moving into the direction at some point of this is a product from Mercedes-Benz, as all of you know, but we are also looking into having a bit more autonomy in terms of the scaling. So that is the roadmap that we are going. And recently, as part of the business model, we also have a comprehensive business model in terms of what we want to do, which markets we want to enter, what customers we have to target, and all that. Talking about these lines, innovation and entrepreneurship. So what we also wanted to do is to provide this technology as a data marketplace white label solution, for example, for others to build their business model on top of it. So it is not just one global data marketplace that we offer, but we also want to offer this white label solution into the direction. And this is where we are also, having some projects implemented. And as Elaine highlighted, this is a horizontal technology across domains. So when we move into the direction of providing this, white label solution, then obviously we are empowering the other party to build their business model on top of it for their ecosystem or for their internal data exchange or for their geographical region, for example. So in a way, it is actually multiplying the technology into more data marketplaces that someone can use within different domains, basically. And interestingly, this is where we are also, getting interest from the government sector, not just on the enterprise space, which initially was not part of our customer segment, but we see that there is also an increased emphasis on secure data exchange within the government space, basically.
Interesting. Yeah, having a government public sector also play a role, that it could be very exciting, obviously, with respect to the scale and the amount of data that they would be bringing, public data in that sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. Another, moving to the next question and pulling it from the thread here. VK Padva has dropped in. How can we use Acentrik Marketplace to share a data set based on parameter?
So there's a standard onboarding process that we have. Right now, a global data marketplace, it is strictly B2B. So it is enterprise to enterprise because it is built that way. So the standard onboarding process is there's an enterprise agreement that we send over. Once that is signed, then your organization gets access into the marketplace with all the relevant roles. And then it is up to the organization choice, as I mentioned, whether they want to connect their edge computing node or use our default edge computing node. And as part of the data product onboarding, you can simply make use of the features that are available. And the advantage with the global data marketplace is that you will also be part of the enterprise spotlight that we advertise. So you'll be part of the ecosystem along with others, other players and their data products. So we try to keep it as lean as possible and the onboarding as fast as possible. We are trying to automate a lot of things to make the onboarding as seamless as possible.
Yeah, that's great. The onboarding obviously is a threshold that one needs to cross, and the easier and quicker and simplifies and automated, as you said, you can make that the easier to scale. Another question here. Do you think that we are close to institutional adoption for data sharing secured with the blockchain? You touched on that earlier, but maybe have some additional insights there. That was also a question asked in the thread with respect to institutional adoption of data sharing secured with the blockchain. Lots in there, very dense. Data sharing, obviously, for enterprise is one thing, and blockchain is another, and both of those combined. How's your view on that?
Hello.
Hello?
No, English or Serbian?
Sorry, just to get the question right, you are asking how close are we in terms of the institutional adoption?
Hi.
Okay, I think we got Lazar who has his mic on. Okay, great. Thank you for muting. It can be a little confusing to have more than one person talking, so hopefully we can have you mute, and so we can get the answer from Srikant there.
Yeah. So I would say I cannot say a strong yes in that case, but as I mentioned, we are seeing a lot more progress now than 6 months back in terms of institutional adoption, and we hope that we will get more traction, especially in the enterprise space, because there's an increased emphasis in terms of data sharing, but also retaining control over the data. So, which is why we are strongly working on use cases implementation. So, as and when we implement something, we will also advertise it because we have India with most of the players. So, but please watch out for some exciting updates from our side in terms of the project implementation. Hopefully, that will also unlock other enterprises to to join the game. And maybe I'll also add one point. Europe has always been the target market because there's a lot happening in terms of the data sharing, but presently we are also getting requests from outside of Europe, across the world, to be honest, from the US, from Japan, from South Korea, everywhere. So it is a problem everywhere that we are trying to solve, but we also have some clear customer segments. So hopefully, we will get enterprises worldwide to get into the platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you very, very much. I mean, obviously, the data economy is a global economy, so it's not just limited to one country or region. So not a surprise there that you're getting interest from around the globe. Super, thank you, Srikant. And with an eye on time and knowing that we were actually scheduled to wrap up about 3 minutes ago, as much as I'd like to continue with other questions that we had in the thread, I think we're going to close things down now and wrap things up. But I want to thank you for your time, Elaine for her time, and the entire Acentrik team for all their help in getting this event together. It's great to check back in with you. Great to have you guys back on Ocean Protocol Builders. And we hope to, once again in the future, continue the tradition, if you will, and have you back sometime. And for those who want to learn more about Acentrik and how they continue to develop, please visit, or I encourage you to visit the Acentrik LinkedIn page. I believe we can drop that into the chat here so everyone can have a direct link. Either way, I hope everyone enjoyed learning more about what Acentrik is building on Ocean and how Acentrik is making it easier for enterprises to unlock the value of decentralized data. Personally, it's very exciting to see this project evolve, and it's been great to collaborate with you guys up until now, and look forward to continuing that moving forward. So on behalf of me, thanks very much again. And obviously, for those of you who are new to Ocean and want to learn a little bit more about Ocean Protocol, please visit oceanprotocol.com. Obviously, you're already on our Discord, which is fantastic for those of you who are joining the live event, but we're also on Discord as well as Twitter. So let's keep in touch and keep building on Ocean. The next Ocean Builders or Ocean Protocol Builders event, it will be announced shortly. So please keep your eye out for more information on the next event. But until then, on behalf of the entire Ocean Protocol team, take care out there. Look forward to seeing you back again very soon for the next Ocean Protocol Builders event. So with that, bye-bye and have a great day. Thanks, everyone.
You guys, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.